Hey mama, welcome back. First of all, Happy New Year. I cannot believe it is 2026. Where did 2025 go? It was like a blink of an eye. I don't know about you, but as I age, I feel like time speeds up and my body moves a lot slower. But if you're listening today and thinking, hey, I just want better conversations with my daughter, I want less tension, less correcting, and less having to feel frustrated or out of sorts, but be more connected, you're not alone. I'm glad you are here. And today I want to share something that may feel surprisingly simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It's something that I do within my own family. And now I do it personally now that my kids are adult children, especially when you're raising a tween and teenage daughter who really doesn't want to be told what to do. You probably can relate to this, or even told how to act or who to be. So today's episode is all about choosing, dun dun dun, because it's 2026, a word of the year as a family, and how this one small shift can really create cohesiveness, clarity, and intentionality without power struggles, lectures, and constant reminders. If you are frustrated with how to get your teenage daughter to open up to you because all you want is to connect with her as you once did, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Jeannie Baldomero, a former rebellious teen, now mom of 3 young adults, educator, and the mom mentor, equipping you to create open communication with your girl so she can come to you about anything, even if she's scared. So grab your oat milk latte, breathe, and let's do this together. One thing I love to do on top of doing this podcast and serving you mamas is also helping moms one-on-one in the weeds, raising their tween or teen girl. Mamas who feel all of a sudden disconnected with their once young, cuddly girl and now entering the tween stage and have no clue what to do with her. So I got a chance to talk to one of my moms, and this is what she said. I was in a bad place with my 14-year-old daughter this summer when I decided to take the bold move to enroll onto the Talk to Your Teen Girl framework. After as little as 2 weeks into the course, I learned how to communicate more effectively with my 14-year-old daughter. I feel now I have the tools to handle conversations better and approach my daughter with love, empathy, and without judgment, something I honestly struggled with before. The result, my daughter recently told me I am her safe person. Wow. We are enjoying a closeness now that I would only have dreamt of before. It's a work in progress, but I have the tools now. Thanks to Jeannie, I am beyond grateful for this. Absolutely amazing to see how quick my friend Carly got a result in as little as 2 weeks and started to see the changes in her daughter and the way she interacted with her daughter simply by shifting the way she needed to interact with her girl. This level of connection bridged in just a few short weeks of Talk to Your Teen Girl framework. You're probably wondering what exactly is in the Talk to Your Teen Girl framework. I'm a visual person, so I get you. I like to be able to visualize exactly what I'm getting into, and I like seeing the steps to fully grasp what I would be learning. So I totally get it. So here it is. In this course, you get access to 5 modules, which you can complete at your own pace. Typically, they are about 1 week each. You have access to a private Facebook Mom Tribe community. You get a workbook containing your communication action plan and notes from the modules. Plus, I'm not done, 2 bonuses. Not 1, but 2, 52 dates, ideas with your daughter, 11-page resource guide, and never run out of things to talk about with your daughter. Endless questions in various topics you can ask your girl. I believe in equipping moms with resources and tools ready at hand's length to use and utilize at any given time. So if you are still trying to grasp what this all looks like, I get you. Come and visit talktoyourteengirl.com where I lay it out all for you. I'll see you there. You know, like I said earlier in the intro, we have the word of the year, and I continually do that every year. I pray in November and December over a word that we as a family can focus on, and now me more personally, I can focus on for the upcoming year. I present that word that I feel in my gut that I hear and I write down in my journal during my prayer time. And I present that to my family, and we usually agree upon it. In the past, some of these words were like joy, dream, promises, resilience, trust, breakthrough. These words have driven our family over the years. We've been intentional about focusing on the one word. It's displayed throughout our home throughout the year. And later on in this episode, I will be explaining some tactical steps of how you can also implement the word of the year in your family. But first of all, what is the word of the year? A word of the year is simply a shared focus. It's a theme. It's an anchor you can return to throughout the year when things feel busy, emotional, or disconnected. Okay? I know that as we start to live the year through, we forget what our intentions were in the beginning of the year, and having a word to focus on can bring us back. It's a way to say, this is what matters to us, not just your daughter, but to your entire family. It gives direction without demands, and it invites reflection without correction. Okay, that wasn't meant to be rhyming. And it creates unity without control. So that is what a word of the year is. What it's not, right? This is really important, especially if you're parenting a tween or teen. A word of the year is not a rule. It's not a behavior contract. It's not the law of the land in your home or something you use to correct your daughter in the middle of an argument. Because the moment a word becomes a weapon, right? Remember our word respect, right? You've lost the heart of what this is meant to be. This is not about compliance. This is about connection. So why this works so well for your tween or teen daughter? Because your girls crave independence. They also deeply want belonging. Even if they don't say it out loud, even if they don't act like it, they really do deep down want to feel like they belong. And a word of the year gives them ownership without pressure, right? And it gives them direction without having to feel micromanaged. A simple sign, I use a chalkboard or even one of those boards where you can change the words. They're plastic letters that you can pin on a board and change the words. I've used that in the past, but it's a simple reminder without even telling them that that's our word that we're going to focus on this year. And you don't have to say a thing. It's written right there. It's a simple reminder for herself, and you don't have to manage that. And it's also a voice without being put on the spot. It's a conviction within her that she can remind herself about what you as a family is focusing on. Instead of constantly feeling corrected, they're going to feel included. And instead of reacting against rules, they're invited into values, into intentionality, into being present in those words, right? In that word. And what this communicates to her without even saying it directly from you out of your own mouth is that we're in this together, that your voice really does matter, and that you're trusted. And as a family, it gives you a shared language you can gently return to instead of constantly explaining or correcting or managing their behavior, right? Now, you're probably thinking, okay, well, I'm ready for the word of the year. And if you haven't considered one yet, I'm glad you're listening. And if you have, that is awesome. I'm hoping that what we're talking about or what I'm talking about today reinforces your decision to have a word of the year. So if this is not you and you haven't started, and that's okay, I'm going to help you step by step. Let's talk about how to actually do this in a way that feels safe and doable. Maybe the first step is to set the tone, right? You don't want to just jump into it out of nowhere, especially if your family has never had a word of the year, right? It's going to be awkward for it to suddenly just pop up. So before you even begin, just remove the pressure. There is no pressure here. Maybe say something like, this isn't about being perfect. There's no right answer. We're just dreaming together. The what ifs, if you can actually say a word that dominates your brain, what would it be? If you had a word that you wanted to focus on, what would it be? Or if you are a family of faith, let's pray and think about what God is putting on our hearts. What word would it be? Maybe just do it over a relaxed setting that's naturally relaxing for you guys. You guys are sitting on the sofa and you just happen to be all together. This is a great time to bring it up. Or maybe have a dessert night, have an ice cream bar, or some of us who have a no sugar fast like I am right now, maybe not a dessert bar, or something like a salad bar or fruit salad bar, or maybe a drive in the car, or maybe if you guys are going on a walk as a family, that's a time where you guys can do that. This is not to be rushed, and it's not expected to have an instant engagement, right? This is probably a layering conversation here. We don't want to expect an answer after the first conversation, especially from your daughter. If she's quiet about it, that is okay. Okay. And then the next is you want to invite individual reflection. Give everyone a moment to think on their own. Maybe pose the question like, what do you want more of this year? Or how do you want your family to feel? Or what feels heavy right now? Or what are you encouraged by this or not stressed about? What are you feeling encouraged by, right? Those are great prompts to start discussions around a common theme that from those discussions, you can start to pull out an individual word. Your daughter might just shrug and she might just say, I don't know, and really not care. But that's okay. That's normal, right? This is nothing to be frustrated over. You're simply inviting her to reflect individually. And she might not have the answers now, especially if she is not used to thinking and reflecting on those type of questions, right? They just need time. Now, third, share without debate. This is a great time for everyone in the family to share. Sharing and having the space to share without interruption is key. It's not a time for you to debate what they're saying, to ask them why, or correcting them, or trying to put words in their mouth. This is not the time. It's the time for them to express themselves the way they can, right? Each person gets to share their word or their answers to the questions that you've prompted them, without any judgment, without any interruption, and it's just a free space to share. The goal is not to agree upon something. The goal is safety. Next is to look for an overlap, maybe a common theme or a common word that you feel like is highlighted as you're listening to these answers, right? Maybe it's pointing towards the same idea, and maybe that's how we can start to extract those words, right? Some examples is maybe peace, calm, patience, which really means peace, like confidence, growth, and courage, maybe brave. So when you're thinking about the word of the year, as you're pulling and extracting these ideas, themes, and thoughts from everyone's answers in your family, you want to make sure that your word of the year is simple, it's encouraging and hopeful, and it's flexible enough to grow with your family. Meaning you don't want it to be so minute, but maybe a higher level word that can expand in any area of their life. Now, I go back to some of the words that I've used in the past with my family: joy, dream, promises, resilience, trust, breakthrough. Those are all high-level words that are able to invade each area of our lives, and for us to really go back and think about how are we being intentional with that word in our life, and how is that showing up in our life over the year. Okay, Mama, I'm just going to let you know before we end this episode is that your daughter doesn't need another lecture this year, right? We want to be encouraged by connection. She needs to feel like she belongs, even if she's trying to figure that out herself. She wants you to know that she really wants to belong in your family. Even if she doesn't say it, even if she doesn't act like it, she does. A word of the year can create direction for your family without the pressure. And this can unite you without having to control the direction of your family, really, and connect without having to correct every action she does. And this is such a great way to have open communication. This is the beginning and the start of it, because this creates intentionality. This opens up conversations of a common thing you as a family together are working on. So if you decide to try this, I'd love to hear what word your family chooses. Believe me, I answer all my emails, so please email me. And remember, you don't have to do this perfectly, and you just have to start. Just start. Start the conversations. Massage it a little. I like to say massage because that's what I think our conversations with our teenage daughters need to be. It's more massaging, so it softens them up, and that's where you'll start to get results from a conversation. Mama, I'm praying over your word of the year as you guys come up with it for the family. And if you already have one, share it with me, please. And I'm praying over that word for your family as well. I'll see you next Monday for a new episode on Raising Her Confidently. I am so glad you're here. I'm praying for your year, that it brings so much depth, joy, and growth in your relationship with your daughter. Hey friend, if this podcast inspired you or encouraged you or helped you in any way, I'd love for you to share it. You can screenshot this episode and share it in your stories on social media or text it to a friend who can use the support. It's the best way you can thank me. I want to let other mamas know they are not alone. I'd love to stay connected with you. You can find me at raisingherconfidently.com. Until next time, live full of grace, Jeannie.